Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life, the podcast. You're listening to 5-Minute Fridays with Coach Myrna. Today, I want to teach on the topic, Mountains Rise in the Wake of Earthquakes, and how you can find the strength after life's tremors. I was reading a book a few weeks back, and I came across this quote that mountains rise in the wake of earthquakes. And, don't judge me, but I missed this in geography. I did not know this. But as soon as I heard it, I said, you know what? This is a teaching moment. First of all, I had to Google it to make sure it was true. So, hence this episode. Now, as you all know, life is filled with unexpected tremors that shake us to our core. Sometimes we experience a Category 7 earthquake and the ground beneath us falls away. I mean, we are like down in the dumps, right? Nothing is holding us back. So have you ever, to put this into perspective, have you ever received a life-changing diagnosis, or maybe someone you love died, or the one that most of us experience, someone walked away, breaking our heart, crushing us? We don't want to get up out of bed. We feel that the rug has been pulled up from under us. Or like a Category 7 earthquake where the ground just opens up and swallows you in. So these events leave us feeling unstable, broken, and in a crumpled heap on the floor. But listen, just as mountains rise up in the wake of earthquakes, we too can find the strength and elevation in the aftermath of life's most challenging moments. So that is what I want to teach on today. So let's unpack it a little bit. I'm not sure if you ever heard this before, or you're like me, this comes as a completely new information. But how are mountains formed? In the natural world, earthquakes are both destructive and creative forces. They arise from the shifting of the tectonic plates, causing the ground to quake and split. Yet these very shifts are also responsible for the formation of mountains. Over time, the pressure and friction between the plates crush the earth upwards, creating majestic mountains that are indestructible. This natural process is a powerful metaphor for personal growth. Just as the earth experienced turmoil before it can create something as awe-inspiring as a mountain range, we too can trust that must sometimes endure significant upheaval and pressure before we can reach our fullest potential. This one I knew, and I always taught on this. Airplanes cannot lift without the pressure in order for it to lift up. Mountains cannot form without pressure. Diamonds are created with the pressure of the carbon atoms. And real success cannot be achieved without the pressures of life. So, number one that I want to teach on is we have to learn to embrace life's earthquakes. When the ground falls away beneath us, whether due to a job loss, a relationship ending, a personal failure, it's easy to focus on the destruction. We see the rubble of our plans and the cracks in our confidence, yet these moments also present an opportunity to rebuild, to reassess our paths, and to discover strengths we never knew we possessed. I remember when my sister was diagnosed with cancer, and, she is not a very big girl, and she says, "Can you believe what I'm going to look like after chemotherapy?" I says, "Yes, you might go down to 90 pounds, but guess what? God will rebuild you stronger than ever. And sometimes he tears things down so that he can rebuild them stronger." And guess what? That's exactly what happened. I know she didn't go down to 90 pounds, but she lost like 30 pounds or something. She was like at 105. And now she's rebuilding. And she's rebuilding stronger and stronger. It's the same way for you. God tears something down, rebuild it stronger. You also have to accept the shaking. You've got to accept things. You can't run away from them and say they're not there. The first rule is accept what's been presented. There's a serenity prayer that I want to share with you. And I've learned this a long time ago. And the serenity prayer says, "Oh God, give us the serenity to accept what cannot be changed, the courage to change what can be changed, and the wisdom to know the difference." So acknowledge the pain, the fear, the uncertainty. By facing these feelings head on, you lay the foundation of a genuine healing and transformation. Now, when things are rocky, you also need to find some stable ground, right? You don't want to be shaking all the time. So seek stability in whatever form. In the immediate aftermath of a life quake, find small ways to regain your stability. Find small ways to regain your footing. This could be through daily routines, supportive relationship, self-care practices, grounding yourself in the familiar with comforting activities can provide a sense of control against chaos. Reflect and learn. We should always reflect on things, what happened, what our response was, so that when it presents itself again, we'll be more able to handle it because we've reflected it and we have recorded it and we have categorized it, right? So every earthquake leaves clues about the deeper shifts happening below the surface. Take time to reflect on what caused the disruption and what it reveals to you about your life. What were the underlying issues that needed to be addressed? What lessons can be learned to prevent similar tremors in the future? That's just what I just said. You learn from your mistakes. Everything is there to teach you something. So learn. And then you set the intention. You want to rebuild, right? Everything happens by you setting the attention. As you begin to rebuild, do so with intention and purpose. This is an opportunity to create a life that is more aligned with your values and aspirations. Set new goals, seek out new opportunities, and don't be afraid to dream bigger than before. Remember to aim for majestic peaks. You don't want no little rolling hills. Your intention is the top. Like Les Brown says, aim for the stars and maybe you'll get to the moon, right? But aim high. Aim for those majestic peaks. Find your inner strength. We all have it. And sometimes these life tremors are there to reveal to us our strengths. Mountains are born from pressure and upheaval, and within you, I should say, lies a reservoir of strength that you may not have tapped into yet. Trust in your resilience and your ability to rise above any challenge. Each quake you survive adds to your inner fortitude, making you stronger and more capable. But it's also good for me to put a pin here because, you might experience several earthquakes. Not all of them might be a Cat 7. There might be a 1 or 2 or something, but something that shakes you to your core, right? So doesn't mean you're just going to have one. Some of us might be lucky to have none, to not have any, but always be prepared. Rise like the mountain. In the end, the mountains we climb are often the ones we build ourselves. Life's earthquakes may be unavoidable, but a response to them is within our control. By embracing the process, finding stability, reflecting on the lessons, rebuilding with intention, and tapping into our inner strength, we can rise higher than we ever thought possible. Just as the tallest peaks stand as monuments to the Earth's resilience, so too can we become living testaments to the power of overcoming adversity. The ground may fall away beneath us, but we can rise stronger and more magnificent, just like the mountains forged in the wake of earthquakes. So, that was my message today for you, that remember, mountains are formed by earthquakes. There is the yin and yang. Destructive forces are also creative forces. And we need to be aware that, anything that doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's something my grandmother taught me. And it is very true. If you survive it, you're coming out stronger. Think of yourself as immovable as a mountain. Because guess what? Mountains cannot be moved. They go through all the changes in the weather, the wind, the hail, the snow, and they remain immovable. And that's why I'm hoping for you today. So thank you very much for tuning in to this week's episode of 5 Minute Fridays with Coach Myrna. I hope you're inspired. And if you're going through right now a Category 7 earthquake, some life event that just knocked you to the ground, I hope that this will inspire you to build and rise up like a mountain. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. If you're listening to this on iTunes, would love for you to subscribe and leave a rating. If you're watching on YouTube, would like for you to subscribe as well and leave a comment. All right. Thanks again. Until next time. Namaste.